Now, the efforts to foster healthy communities and fight substance use is never ending in our state. The governor's prevention partnership has been leading this work for 36 years now. With this year's legislative session underway, we are checking in with the group about its work right now, as well as its message for lawmakers. Here with us this morning, we have Kelly Julesland, the co-president of the partnership, and Neha Shanavis, a member of the Youth Advisory Board. So excited to have you guys here. She's also a freshman over at UConn. Go Huskies! Yay. So glad to have you here. So Kelly, let's go ahead and get started with what you guys are focused on now, and just tell us about the current state of the opioid epidemic.
Well, the good news is last year they're predicting that Connecticut's numbers went down in terms of the number of overdoses, looking at right now a 16% reduction, which is fantastic. And it speaks to the really tremendous work that's being done in both the prevention, harm reduction, and treatment areas to help people get the support that they need. And so that's the work that we're going to focus on today when we're at the Capitol in advance of the appropriations hearing, to really talk about the value of prevention. So often we turn to those late stage interventions and are willing to make those kinds of investments there. But we know that prevention is a really smart investment. For every dollar invested, it results in $10 in future societal savings. And so making sure that we continue to make those investments now and do as much as we possibly can to support the prevention infrastructure in the state will keep those numbers coming down.
Yes, and it's not only important when you all are raising awareness about this, as you said, not just helping people after the fact, that is also important, but getting ahead of it. Mm-hmm. And is this something that you're seeing a lot of kids get into more often?
We're so thrilled that we have young people like Neha and others who are on our Youth Advisory Board who are coming together, who are the young people who are doing the great work in their communities and really encouraging others to do the great work too, to make sure that they live substance-free lifestyles. Mm-hmm. And so young people and sharing their voices is so critical. I think we have about 10 young people who are coming tonight to testify, and we're so thrilled that legislators are going to have the chance to hear from our future like that.
Yes, yes. Now, Neha, you were one of the young folks involved with the Governor's Prevention Partnership, and I know as a youth, it's tough to try to avoid succumbing to peer pressure. You want to feel included, you want to feel like you can relate and identify with your peers. Why is it important for you to be involved with this?
For me, my original journey started when I was at the Sport and Medical Science Academy for my high school, and a fellow student passed away from a fentanyl overdose, and I was just able to realize how bad the actual situation was. Because we hear it's almost becoming normalized now for students to engage in substances now, but for people to hear that a 13-year-old passed away from fentanyl overdose, that was the real point where I was like, this needs to stop. It's very important that youth are aware of this because we're messing with our lives in the future, and not a lot of people are aware of how detrimental this could be to not just your health, but people around you as well.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the times people, especially young folks, think, that won't happen to me, or I'm only doing this every once in a while, but all it takes is just one time for things to go wrong. So if there were any young folks who will be catching this later, what would you say to them?
I would say really, really look into what you're doing, because you are the only person who is aware of what you're doing to yourself. You're the only one who's going to bear the consequences. So really be aware of what you're doing to your body, and also reach out, ask for help. There's so many resources out there, you might just not be aware of them. So you really want to take advantage of them and ask for help, because trust me, there's so many people out there who are ready to help you.
Awesome, awesome. Now, you were recently recognized. You received a pretty big award. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I was in D.C. a couple weeks ago because I was nationally recognized at the CATCA Forum. I was the 2025 Outstanding Youth Leader of the Year.
Congratulations. Thank you. That's so awesome. We had to let her, give her space, give her flowers, brag about yourself a little bit. It's okay. That's cool. All right, and we do have to head out in a little bit, but if anyone's tuning in and they want to either get involved or find out more information, how can they connect with you all?
They can visit our website, gppct.org. If it's a young person, they can sign up to become a member of our Youth Advisory Board and help do great things like Neha.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.